Shout out to our sponsor, Sherry's Berries. Mother's Day is only a few days away.
Send her a batch of freshly dipped strawberries for $19.99 or double the number for an extra $10.
To get this offer, visit berries.com, click the microphone in the top right corner, and use the offer code THEKNOW with a space.
In your face!
Welcome to The Know, I'm Meg Turney.
I'm Gus Sorola.
Get those shirts half tucked in that banter extra quippy, everybody. Nathan Drake is suiting up for his last hurrah.
Uncharted 4 Thief's End comes out next week, and it's about damn time.
Yes, we've had months of delays, endless Naughty Dog teases, the series lead's departure, voice actor controversy, stolen art from Ubisoft, Uncharted 4 trucks getting hijacked. Maybe the drama itself can finally come to whatever end is in store for our beloved Thief.
Well, let's hope so.
Yes.
Reviews for Uncharted 4 are now live, so of course it's time to ask a question. Is it good?
We're gonna tell you. This one's coming at you faster than UK thieves on a video game shipment. At the time of writing, it's a good joke, whatever. Eddy wrote it, I'm sorry. Uncharted 4 is sitting at a whopping 94 on Metacritic.
If you pit Uncharted 4's Metacritic score in a cage match against Naughty Dog's previous games, it holds its own, but ultimately it does lose out.
As for other games in the series, Uncharted 1 netted an 88, which is surprisingly high considering that people often refer to its kind of preview for the series. Not the best, people don't really think of it as bad, but they don't put it at the same tier as Uncharted 2.
Uncharted 2, of course, tops the list of Metacritic scores at 96. Uncharted 3 follows it up with a very respectable 92.
And for comparison's sake, The Last of Us was Naughty Dog's most recent game before Uncharted 4, and since they took a break after Uncharted 3, and that one landed at 95 on Metacritic.
So all in all, Drake's looking pretty good for one last trip into the jungle or desert or place on fire, whatever type of environment Naughty Dog felt like showcasing on this generation's hardware.
As for the review outlets themselves, scores are mostly consistent. Time, Giant Bomb, Game Rant, Telegraph, Twinfinite, PlayStation Lifestyle, The Six Axis, and GameSpot all gave it perfect scores.
What about Reader's Digest, though?
Did they
I don't think they've weighed in yet.
I don't think so.
Clearly, we are dealing with the best game ever. Everybody else totally hated it, with Game Informer giving it a 9.5, EGM, Polygon, and Forbes giving it a 9 out of 10, and Games Radar sinking that Metacritic average with a 4 out of 5 stars. Ouch!
Jerks. Of course, the big question on everybody's mind is how it stacks up to the Uncharted games of past, if it feels like a worthy entry, and if it wraps up the series well.
Unfortunately for all of us diehard Drakers, we don't call ourselves Drakers.
We don't.
The answer appears to be a resounding yes. So much, in fact, that a common thread among reviewers is that it might even be the best of the franchise.
Wow, I want to hear that. Giant Bomb in particular likened the death-defying jump in quality from 3 to 4 as the same type of leap in quality we saw from Uncharted 1 to 2, writing, "It's not even just the best Uncharted game, this is one of the most fully realized action campaigns of all time, and it sets a new bar of quality for what's possible in the genre."
Whoa, that's really strong words there. And naturally the draw for any Uncharted game is its story and pacing, so that tended to be what reviewers focused on the most.
And again, it apparently totally delivers, for the most part. This seems to be the one thing that reviewers were sort of split on, though. In general, Uncharted 4 eschews some of the action of the past to deliver quieter, more reserved moments of storytelling, like we saw in The Last of Us.
For some, this totally made sense because we're dealing with the final chapter of a tetralogy. I learned a new word today. The game's themes hit heavy, but they're still nuanced, with most of the spotlight being shined on the motivations of the characters rather than the hunt.
But for others, this meant that the game lacked some of the distinct holy shit set-piece moments that Uncharted has always been known for. Game Informer, in its review, said, "Naughty Dog finds new ways to make things go boom. There's plenty of fun in that, but I was never hit with that one defining moment I had to tell everyone about, like I did in Uncharted 2 and 3.
The main issue with the game's story seems to be the introduction of Sam, Nathan Drake's brother. It's always brothers, right? Following the events of Uncharted 3, Drake has settled down with Elena into a fairly normal, non-swashbuckling life. However, Sam arrives, stating that he's in trouble and needs Drake's help to get rich.
Since we've never had mention of Sam before in any other Uncharted game, A Thief's End has to go out of its way early on to establish not only this brand new character, but also a brand new treasure hunt, and doing both for some reviewers made the game start too slow.
About the game's slow start, Games Radar complained all the flashback/backstory levels and anything related to Sam, including Sam himself, could simply be cut to create a shorter, better game, just Nate and Sully hunting for treasure.
Slow start aside, most reviewers could not praise the game's actual treasure hunt enough, calling it the most engrossing yarn yet.
Forbes went as far as calling it one of the best they've seen in any medium. Quote, "This is the first time I remember being truly impressed by the telling of a legend in a game like this, be it Uncharted or Tomb Raider, and I'd almost put the concept up there with Raiders or Last Crusade, truthfully."
But what about Crystal Skull?
Drakers did not like Crystal Skull.
Drakers do
Us
not
Drakers
talk about
do not
it.
like
No,
Crystal
no.
Skull. Speaking of beating a dead horse, another issue many had with the game is that by now, some of the gameplay has lost its luster, which makes sense considering none of the Uncharted games has ever really mixed up the formula besides tightening up mechanics.
Game Informer called the action in the Thieves' End routine, and also added that it's lost some of its magic with time.
Other reviewers found that the inclusion of new tools like the grappling hook, the ability to tag enemies, the helpfulness of Sam, and even more open areas for combat all help make things feel at least a little bit fresh.
In its review, Time said, exploring and testing and figuring out how best to proceed yields dividends, whether contemplating oblique routes or a grapple swinging out of a combat to change things up. Nothing about any of that feels obvious or automated.
A number of reviewers also mentioned the game's extensive climbing sequences, noting that there might be too many of them. Forbes says it's as much as 70% of the game, writing, "Oh god, the climbing, it isn't fun. It isn't a puzzle. It's just a mechanic to push the game along at a snail's pace, yet make players feel like they're doing something."
Wow. Although to be fair, come on, it's an Uncharted game. You see something orange, you fucking climb it. That's what you expect from the series.
Absolutely. And speaking of expectations, thank God that barely anybody complained about how many people Drake kills in the game. Polygon.
Looking at you. It's always self-defense when treasure's involved, everyone.
One thing that everyone can agree on is that the game is gorgeous. Giant Bomb gushed about the game's beauty, quote, "To say it's the best looking game on PlayStation 4 feels like doing it a disservice. It's the best looking video game I've ever seen on any console."
Love that. I love how excited people are.
Yay!
By the way, there's a multiplayer mode which many reviewers confirm does exist, in case you're curious.
As for how Uncharted 4 handles closing out the series and that supposedly controversial ending, well, everybody stayed pretty quiet on that front so as not to give too much away.
However, reviewers did say that the game provides a definitive epilogue to Drake's story, one that should, for the most part, keep fans satisfied.
Oh, come on, we know there's going to be another one at some point. I mean, sure, this will be the last one Naughty Dog makes, but Sony will get somebody else to dig up the bones of the story for another treasure hunt, somewhere down the line.
It'll be Sam.
Yay.
You'll all be able to see for yourselves how the game stacks up to the rest of Nathan Drake's adventures next week. Cannot come soon enough. I want it all. Uncharted 4 drops May 10th. Let us know if you'll be playing down in the comments.
For future Naughty Dog news and more reviews, like this video and subscribe to the Know.
Thanks to Sherry's Berries for sponsoring this update.
Mother's Day is almost here. Send your mom a batch of freshly dipped strawberries for $19.99.
Or you can double the number of berries for $10, so maybe there's leftovers for you.
To get this offer, just go to berries.com, click on the microphone in the top right corner, enter code THEKNOW with a space.
Yes, don't forget. And also you get berries.
We're gonna eat these
This
now.
is the part where you get to eat them.
We know what this is how we'll make do with this until Uncharted 4.
Ah,
That's my favorite one.
I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Thanks, Mom.